Hi there, welcome to Lad Mix Farm. It's Arthur here. Today we'd like to look at how one can be able to start a goat farming enterprise. And this is particularly for members out there that would like to start but have limited resources. So in this case, you don't have really to have enough, a lot of money to be able to kickstart. You can start with what you have. But there are certain basics that you really, need to do. For instance, start by doing research. You can be able to visit some prominent farmers that that could be around you, but also there is a lot of information on YouTube, on internet. Do that search and be able to learn more and take notes and see how people go about it. Consult your local vet, for instance. I can be able to to guide you. Now there are some basics that you really need to know. To start with, ensure that you have enough pastures. If you want to go for free range, ensure that you have quite a big area where you're going to graze your animals. If you're going to go for zero grazing, then plant pastures. There are a number of pastures that you can be able to plant. We have the sugar napier, we have the alfalfa, we have sugar graze, we have so many types. You can be able to identify which ones are going to be very helpful for you, and with consultations from, for instance, the district agriculture officer or the vet or any other person that is doing goat farming, they can be able to help you. So ensure that you have enough pastures. That is very, very key. Put up a simple shelter. Others advocate for, a raised structure. That one you can go for it if you have the resources to put up a structure that is raised so that it provides the clean environment for the goats. If you don't have it, do a simple structure on raised ground. Not necessarily, if you have an anthill also, or any area that you can really shape up well and put up a structure, ensure that it is well ventilated, can prevent winds from, directly, blowing on your animals, and sheltering the goats from rain. That will be sufficient enough, to start with. Then, ensure that you have some money around you. It's key. Or, for instance, you're going to use that money to identify some of the goats that you'd want to start with. Identify a caretaker. A caretaker should be somebody very passionate about goat farming, or somebody who's willing to learn, that you can, learn, teach, and be able to, help him, take up this role strongly, and so you'll be on a learning curve together. Now, you do not necessarily need to have a lot of money, for instance, because in Uganda at the moment, you will need around 400,000 to buy a single goat if it's a cross breed or of a superior, genetic breed. But you can decide to start with the local traditional goats. We have the Mubende type. It's a local goat. It's a traditional goat, but grows big in size, and has very good actually mothering abilities. So if you identify for yourself some good number of goats, say if you want to start with 50, if you have the capacity to buy that number, then you'll be able to identify a good cross breed of a buck, a he goat that is of high percentage breed, and then be able to bring it as the he goat or the buck of the flock. Now that one helps very much to be able to improve on your herd. If you have the money, you can buy a pure breed, meaning it's 100%. The next maybe 6 or 7 months, you'll have another round. So you'll now start embarking on the journey of improving your herd by allowing this goat, pure he goat, to continue with these the mother flock, but ensure to identify another, he goat that you'll now introduce that is going to be the he-goat or the main buck for this newly, first round of goat kids, because by the time they make 1 year, they should be ready to conceive. And if you're not ready to split now the new herd that has been born over that particular year from the mothers, then it's advisable that you remove the he-goat, the buck, and introduce a new one. This one now can be able to stay with both the mother and these other, 75 goats that have been born. But not all of them, of course, will be females. Say maybe 20 or 30 or 50% can be he goats. And then you either castrate them or put them separate, but at least you'll have an additional number of mothers that are, that can keep on, growing your herd over time. So by introducing the hybrids, it will help improve, first of all, the quality of your herd. Your herd will start having goats that are of big size in nature, goats that grow very fast and put on more weight. But also when you're selling, for instance, even if it's a cross and you're selling it to another person who wants to go for breeding, it costs way high compared to when you're selling a traditional or local Mubende goat. So there are numerous advantages why you should consider getting a hybrid to be able to, be the he-goat or the main herd, the main buck in your herd. So after that, you'll be able to decide whether you'd want to continue breeding goats for meat or for, breeding purposes to be able to sell to other farmers out there that want to start goat farming. So if you are going to go into breeding goats for meat purposes, then you'll be able to identify those genetics, those hybrids that are good for meat. You may want, for instance, to go for goats for milk production. We have those hybrids, the Sanin, for goats for milk production. We have those hybrids, the Sanin and so forth. You can be able to see how you can be able to to go in for those in consultation with your vet doctor or your district agriculture officer or any other colleague that is into goat farming that can be able to also visit you, by the way, on your farms and be able to guide you further. Now, as you do all these, remember to continue with your standard animal husbandry, practices. Timely deworming, say every after two to 3 months. Make sure that you spray your goats weekly with the right measurement of the acaricides. That is very key. Ensure to vaccinate your animals against the major, killer diseases in your locality. It may not necessarily be the same vaccination schedule that, let's say, a farm you visited in another sub-region that you're going to use on your farm. You'll have to consult your either veterinary staff in your area that will be able to tell you the major, diseases that attack your goat farmers in that particular locality and the vaccinations that are normally applied. And then you'll be able to, provide that to your animals. Ensure, because it's cheaper to vaccinate as compared to treating or starting a new herd when you have lost, the previous or the current herd to something that you could easily vaccinate, against. Then the other issues like providing, good feeding, enough pastures, salt, mineral blocks for your animals becomes very key. With that, you'll be able to realize the numbers without a lot of struggle. If you're out there and you can afford the buying these ones, which are either crosses and pures, you can go ahead with that. It depends on the finances you have. But this is for somebody who would want to really start and has limited resources. That's how you can be able to go about it. That's how we have been able to start on this farm. We went with some local traditional goats mixed with Mubendes, breeds, and introduced the good quality he-goats, and that's how we are growing our herd, and we keep on improving as we move along. So that is what we are doing on this farm. If you consider this information helpful, please consider subscribing. Our returning subscribers, we are very, very grateful.